Ever think about those places on Earth that are just vast, extreme, seem almost empty, but are actually buzzing with complexity? Well, today, that's where we're going. We're doing a deep dive into the Arabian Desert. Our goal here is to sift through a really detailed Wikipedia excerpt, actually, and pull out the most important, the most surprising, really the fascinating stuff about this huge landscape.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. What hits you right away, I think, is the scale. It's the fourth largest desert in the world and the largest in Asia. Covers almost the entire Arabian Peninsula. I mean, just getting your head around that size is a challenge, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's staggering. We're talking 2,330,000 square kilometers. It's around 900,000 square miles. It really gives you a sense of its dominance.
Yeah.
And it's not just one country. It stretches from Yemen way up to the Persian Gulf, and then across from Oman over to Jordan and Iraq. Saudi Arabia's got the biggest piece, sure, but it spills into Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, the UAE, even a bit of Iran, Yemen, Egypt, Sinai, and Israel's Negev.
Wow.
His footprint is huge, really shapes the whole region.
And then there's that name everyone knows, Arab el-Khali, the empty quarter. What's the story there? Why is it so, famous?
Well, partly the name, like you said, but geographically it's one of the largest continuous stretches of sand anywhere on Earth, just massive. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it helps to think of the Arabian Desert as basically an extension of the Sahara.
Oh, interesting, like a continuation.
Exactly. It shows this huge belt of arid climate across Africa and into Asia. It tells you something about the planet's climate history, this deep connection.
So when we picture desert, we usually just think flat sand, right? Golden, maybe. But this place, it sounds way more dramatic. The source mentioned everything from red dunes to deadly quicksand. What kind of surprises are hiding in the terrain?
Yeah, flat doesn't really cover it. The Rub al Khali itself, it's actually a sedimentary basin. Think of a giant ancient bowl collecting sand and rock for millions of years. That geology, by the way, is key to the oil reserves there.
Ah,
And the sand isn't just, sand-colored. It's got this unique mix, mostly quartz, but coated with iron oxide. That's what gives you those amazing orange and purple, sometimes fiery red colors.
like paintings.
Sort of, yeah. And the dunes aren't little hills. Some are colossal. They can reach up to 250 meters. That's 820 feet.
820 feet, that's huge. Taller than a lot of skyscrapers.
Exactly. So definitely not just flat.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, the sheer variety. So beyond the massive dunes and the empty quarter, there's the Adana Desert, like a sand corridor.
Yeah, it connects the Anafu Desert up north, which is itself pretty big,
Oh, wow.
65,000 square kilometers, connects that down to the Rub al Khali, like a sandy highway, as you put it.
And then completely different, the Tuwaik Escarpment. That sounds amazing, an 800-kilometer arc of limestone cliffs and canyons.
A very stark contrast, rocky, dramatic plateaus, really breaks up the sandy expanse.
And then there are salt flats, brackish ones, including the quicksands of al-Samim. That sounds genuinely dangerous.
They can be, yes, treacherous areas. And don't forget the Wahiba Sands over in Oman, right by the coast. Another distinct sand sea. It just shows you this desert is anything but uniform.
Okay, obviously, when you think desert, you think hot, scorching. And the Arabian Desert definitely is hot. But what's surprising reading the details is how nuanced even the extreme climate can be.
That's a good point. It's a subtropical hot desert, much like the Sahara in general character. Most parts get maybe 100 millimeters, about 4 inches of rain a year,
Yeah,
which is, very little.
pretty neat amount.
But it's actually less consistently hyper-arid than the Sahara. Fewer areas are in that extreme zone, getting less than, say, 50 millimeters. Some dip to 30 or 40, but it's not quite as widespread hyper-aridity.
Okay.
And what's fascinating, a bit of a paradox really, is the visibility. You have incredibly high sunshine hours, around 3,400 a year, which is almost 78% of daylight hours.
Bright, right. Very bright.
But the ground visibility can often be surprisingly low. Dust, mostly. Just fine dust hanging in the air. And maybe counterintuitively, humidity can play a role too, creating haze.
Humidity in the desert haze. Okay.
Yeah.
And the temperatures. We mentioned hot.
Oh yeah. Imagine summer highs, generally over 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 Fahrenheit in the lower areas.
Yeah.
And along the Persian Gulf coast, it can hit 48 Celsius, which is 118 Fahrenheit. Brutal.
And nights don't offer much relief, I guess.
Not really. Average summer lows are typically over 20 C, so 68 F. And in the south, lows can stay above 30 Celsius, that's 86 Fahrenheit, even at night.
Wow.
And record highs. They've definitely seen temperatures well over 50 Celsius, 122 Fahrenheit, in quite a few spots. It really makes you appreciate any life that manages to survive there.
Which brings us to life. You'd think an environment that harsh would be, well, empty. But no, it's home to some amazing adapted animals. Gazelles, oryx, sand cats, those spiny-tailed lizards.
Right, and their survival is just a testament to adaptation. The whole ecoregion has something like 900 plant species. Though, admittedly, the deep robot is very sparse. Maybe only 37 plant species recorded there, and only 1 or 2 are endemic, unique just to that spot.
So mostly hardy stuff.
Very hardy. You find plants like Calligonum crinidum on the dunes, salt bushes like Cornulanca arabica, and Salsola stocksii, things built for drought. Trees are pretty rare, mostly on the edges.
And animals.
More diversity there. About 102 native mammal species recorded. The famous ones like Arabian oryx, sand gazelle, the Nubian ibex clinging to cliffs. Predators too, Arabian wolf, caracal, the little sand cat, red fox, and Cape hares. Plus, around 310 species of birds find ways to live or pass through.
That's actually quite a lot of life, but then you read about what's not there anymore. It's pretty sobering to think Asiatic cheetahs and lions used to roam there. Gone now, from this desert at least.
Yeah, completely gone from the Arabian Peninsula. And their disappearance, along with others like the striped hyena, jackal, honey badger, it's a stark warning.
What drove them out?
It's the usual suspects, sadly, amplified in a fragile environment. Hunting, definitely. Habitat destruction as human areas expand. Overgrazing by livestock, which just strips the land. And even things like off-road driving, which might seem harmless, can wreck the vegetation and soil structure. It's cumulative pressure.
So despite this harshness, it's also very much a human landscape, isn't it? Cultures, languages, people have lived here for ages. Islam is dominant, Arabic the main language.
Absolutely. And connecting that to the bigger picture, what's really striking is how these ancient ways coexist with massive modern cities. Think about Riyadh, capital of Saudi Arabia, over 7 million people right there in the desert.
Right in the middle of it all.
Or look at the coasts, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait City, global hubs perched on the edge of this huge desert. It shows incredible human adaptation, really.
And that adaptation, that ability to build cities and thrive, it's obviously linked to the resources found there. It's not just sand.
Not at all. Beneath the sand, the Arabian desert holds globally vital resources. We all know about the oil and natural gas, massive amounts.
The foundation of many economies.
Precisely. But there are also significant deposits of phosphates and sulfur, important industrial minerals. So this desert isn't just a place, it's a major source of global wealth and geopolitical influence.
So given everything, the extremes, the fragile life, the resource pressure, it makes sense that the conservation status is listed as critical endangered.
Yeah, that official status reflects the serious threats. The things we mentioned, overgrazing, not just livestock, but feral camels and goats too. Wildlife poaching continues to be a problem, and that damage from off-road driving is significant.
Are there specific examples of current threats?
Well, in the UAE, for example, sand gazelle and the Arabian oryx are still considered highly threatened despite conservation efforts. And as we said, things like honey badgers, jackals, striped hyenas, they're already gone from the UAE entirely. Extirpated.
That's tough to hear. But it's not all bad news, right? There are protected areas.
Yes, thankfully. And that's crucial. About 4.37% of the ecoregion is now under some form of protection. It might not sound like a huge percentage, but for such a vast area, it's significant.
Can you give some examples? Where are things working?
Sure. Saudi Arabia has a pretty extensive system of reserves managed by their National Commission for Wildlife Conservation and Development, the NCWCD. There's the Harad al-Hara Reserve, for instance, huge place, over 12,000 square kilometers. It protects a unique volcanic rock desert landscape and its wildlife, including 22 mammal species.
Impressive.
And the Uruk Bani Ma'arid Reserve, another 12,000 square kilometers, right on the edge of the empty quarter. They had a major success there back in 1995, reintroducing the Arabian oryx and sand gazelle.
That's fantastic news. Reintroductions are hard.
They are. There's also the Ibex Reserve near Riyadh, focused on protecting Nubian ibex and bringing back mountain gazelles, and Altabike up north, also for ibex. And the UAE has its protected areas too, Al-Hubara, Al-Ghada, the Arabian oryx protected areas. They're all part of this effort to, try and turn the tide.
So wrapping this up, we dove into what many just call the empty quarter and found it's, well, anything but empty. It's this place of really stark, extreme beauty, surprising life, clinging on, and incredibly valuable resources. Red dunes, quicksand, resilient animals, huge cities, oil. It's packed with complexity.
It really is. And thinking about all these different facets, the fragility, the resources, the human presence, It does raise a pretty important question, doesn't it?
Which is.
Well, how do we actually do it? How do we balance the need for development for those resources with the absolute necessity of preserving these unique, incredibly fragile desert ecosystems? Especially, in a region facing population growth and the accelerating impacts of climate change. It's a tough balancing act, thinking about the long-term future for places like the Arabian Desert.